scabs. So I've been lucky enough to go down and talk with some of the locked out Teamsters at the Rocky Mountaineer, and they sent me a little bit of an update on what's going on with their situation, and we're holding this action today in solidarity with them as locked out unionized workers. So the onboard attendants at the Rocky Mountaineer have been locked out and replaced by scabs since June 22nd of this year. So the company was secretly hiring and training scabs while they were still in so-called bargaining with the union. Shame!
Bad faith!
So they're bargaining in bad faith. Because this company operates in 2 provinces, they're regulated under a federal loophole that makes it not actually illegal for them to use scab workers, even though it's illegal in BC. So that's a legal loophole that they're using to get around any anti-scab legislation that might be stopping them from stealing the jobs from these long-time workers and giving them to replacement workers. So some of the union-busting tactics that they asked me to draw attention to, that the company has hired security to film and surveil people on the picket line, that they have exaggerated and invented behavior on the picket line and using that as justification to fine and even fire people who are already locked out of their jobs. Shame! Shame! Shame!
Criminal!
They're using bogus injunctions, trumping up imaginary injunctions to try and get that through the courts, knowing that they're not going to win it, but using it to bleed the union dry in legal fees so that the union is struggling to pay strike pay to their locked out employees. Company spokespeople are spreading lies about the status of bargaining, not telling guests about the situation, so people are getting on this train not knowing that they're being served by scabs, and the company is pitting other staff against those that are locked out. So I have a statement that I'd like to read that came from them. It's important to understand that these union-busting tactics are increasing everywhere. Our experience has been a rude awakening to the realities of the so-called downward pressure being exerted on workers everywhere around the world. And that's a big part of what we're doing here today, is to look at how our ports are complicit in the global rush to the bottom, in labor standards, in the dignity of communities, and in the integrity of the ecology that we all rely on. Right. The Rocky Mountaineer workers have watched members of countless other unions cross our legal picket line to take trips, to go to work, or to attend parties. Rebuilding solidarity within the citizenship is a sane and noble goal. Respect for picket lines would go a long way toward resolving our and other labor disputes. Thank you to Occupy for taking action, to initiate action, conversation, and awareness. Thank you, and good luck. Yeah! Replaced by scabs. This is for all the workers who are not able to unionize, all the unionized workers who are not able to bargain within their unions. Union busting is disgusting.
Union busting is disgusting! Union busting is disgusting! Union busting is disgusting! Union busting is disgusting! Union busting!
Occupy everywhere! Occupy everywhere!
Well, thanks very much for inviting me to say a few words here on behalf of People's Voice. I want to start off by thanking everyone for coming out to this beautiful piece of unceded Indigenous territories where we're fighting for a better world, fighting for a world for our children. You know, it's been said that one of the laws of capitalism is that every generation is forced to fight for their rights all over again. Nothing that we win stays forever. We can never take these things for granted. 76 years ago, for example, that longshore workers in this town marched down Heatley Street. At the foot of Heatley Street, they were met by battalions of cops, beat the crap out of them, tear gassed them, chased them all over the neighborhood. They're forced to find refuge in places like the Ukrainian Hall, the Russian Hall, some other places that are gone now. They didn't win that fight. They didn't win the right to organize in a union on the docks in 1935. But they did keep at it. They did win. It took them several years longer, but they were able to create a situation where they could go to work with some dignity, earn a decent living, get a home for their families, and build a decent life here. All of that is under attack these days.
That's right.
The right to eat, the right to a place to live, the right to a job. None of that can ever be taken for granted because the bosses want to take it all away from us.
That's right.
That's why we need movements like Occupy to make sure that these struggles are renewed again today. Inclusive struggles that bring together everybody. Those of us who are colonists or indigenous people, those of us who come from every country, gay and straight, all of us need to be united in the fight for our basic human rights.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
thanks to all of you who led that very courageous struggle at the Art Gallery for 37 days to take back that little piece of land, and that's a portent of what's going to come in this country. Someday we're going to take the whole country back from those bosses.
Okay, so none of these are scheduled actions yet, but keep your ears open. We're going to be doing some actions against the Kinder Morgan pipeline, the Enbridge pipeline. We're going to be standing in solidarity against the Pacific Trails pipeline. These are all things coming through our communities that are wreaking havoc on communities around British Columbia, Alberta, and they're coming right into our ports and they're being shipped off overseas. You know, we want to talk about climate change. We want people to be on board with stopping climate change, but we're still shipping off all these ridiculously harmful things out of our ports. So this needs to come to a stop. So we're going to be taking a lot of action against that and really standing in solidarity with the First Nations communities that are taking action and saying no tar sands, no pipelines, no tankers in our province.
No condos!
Right, again, so we're also going to be doing a lot of action around social housing, around the fact that Vancouver is not building homes for people. A shelter is not a home, and we need to really tackle this. So that's coming up as well. What else are we doing?
On the 15th, we're planning an action related to salmon, to preserve our free wild salmon in British Columbia, who are under attack from all of these projects, from dams, from development, from highways. So expect a free wild salmon event on the 15th that's going to carry over for a couple of days, and that's coming up real soon. And it's against open net fish farms in BC, which are polluting our waters and our bodies.
On December 26th, there will be an action, multifaceted action, against animal torture, against colonialization, against corporate greed, and against consumer culture. So we'll be doing an action in the downtown core just to speak to people as they rush around on their busy shopping day that there are serious issues at hand that we need to address. So expect that as well. That'll be a rally in March. And plenty to come in the new year. Occupy 2012.